You've got to throw some cold water on the situation. Start talking about nerd stuff.
You know, nerd culture is mainstream now, so when you use the word nerd derogatorily, it means you're the one that's out of the zeitgeist.
System activate.
This is NetHeads with Will Wilkins. It's a tech podcast. But we are a ton cooler than your typical geek.
You guys rock.
And now, here's Will.
And Tony.
This is Mark Evan Jackson from Everything. You're listening to NetHeads.
Thank you, Mark Evan Jackson. Good friend of the show. Good man overall. Hey, everybody, welcome another edition of NetHeads. I dispense with the whole hit me in the show number because you know what? Nobody cares it's show number 380, but that's what it is. Welcome.
I care about it.
I'm glad. Tony, it's good that one of us cares. Anyway, welcome to another edition of NetHeads. My name's Will.
And I'm Tony.
If you want to take part in the program, you can, one of many ways. Anywhere that it's streaming live, you can go ahead and hop into the chat for wherever you're watching it, or, you know, hashtag NetHeads on Twitter, although that's kind of, X. That's after the fact. And that's just what we're used to saying. It's Tony, I realized now that I'm really convinced thoroughly and completely that as a podcast, NetHeads has overstayed its welcome. I'm really convinced of it.
What?
Yeah, I think we've overstayed our welcome, but that's okay. The fun thing about the internet is nobody can tell us what we can and can't do, you know, unless it's illegal or immoral or unethical, which isn't stuff we dabble in. But interestingly enough, go ahead.
I will say this: if we want to be more relevant, we could get amoral and unethical and see how that goes.
You know what? I'm the parent of a 10-year-old. You have a young child. I have a young child. I don't think that is our place to be on the internets. Tony, we've always billed NetHeads as a tech podcast. Okay, that was the angle. It was techie. It was nerdy. But one of the angles was that it was always a tech podcast. I'm ashamed to admit something, though. And for those of you that are listening to me in your car, you may notice, hopefully, a difference in my tonality. The important thing to do with anything, whether it's music, podcasts, etc., Tony, are you familiar with what the car test is?
The car test.
If you want to know, if you want to know if your music or your podcast is engineered well, you got to listen to it in a car.
Oh, okay.
I've listened to this show numerous times in my headphones, as I'm editing it, as I'm preparing it. Hell, as we're sitting here and doing it, yep. I listen to it. Today, I put on last week's episode because, you know, every once in a while, you gotta refer to the game tape. You know what I'm saying? You gotta do some playback. You gotta know whether you fumbled, whether you carried, why did you score, why didn't you score. It's very important. So I was going to get my car smogged today, and I decided, you know what? Oh, hey, look.
Hold on. This has got to be a West Coast thing. What does it mean to have your car smogged?
In the state of California, if the car is made after a certain year or it's X number of years old, you have to have a smog test performed. So they will take your car and they will check the emissions that it makes in order to see if it's burning clean or not. Okay.
Okay, so we call that an emissions test.
Yes, exactly. It's an emissions test, but you know, actually, no, I don't have the paperwork in here, but it literally says in California smog because Los Angeles originated the term. The whole reason why there's unleaded fuel is because of the vast number of people that are in the Los Angeles area and the amount of carbon dioxide and other crap their engines were burning off. So, I had to go do that. So I put us on in the car and I listened and I'm like, you know what? Now, normally people are horrified by the sound of their own voice. Okay. I understand that. Me. Okay. Good. He's raising his hand. Tony's one of them. Can't stand to hear himself. You still got to listen to the game tape, sir. I ordinarily love the sound of my own voice. I am such a low-grade narcissist that I love listening to me. So much so, that's why I'm always talking. Always.
Honestly, Will, we all enjoy the sound of your voice, and I don't think being like a co-host with you occasionally, I don't mind. Which is
Okay.
why, like on fandoms, when you're on with me, you don't talk so much. I get a little nervous.
Which we're going to be doing tomorrow, actually, I believe. Tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I got them right this time. We don't have to flip them around. I'm terrified by your voice daily, Will. Fair enough. Thank you, Zach, in the chat. Appreciate it. Ordinarily, why am I going to you? Ordinarily, I am not horrified by my own voice. I love listening to it. But one of the things I haven't done in a long time is listen in the car. And I just realized, man, there is something about it's my tone. My tone has a problem. Because for the longest time, I was using a simplified regular mixer, not a digital mixer like I use, and I have been using, I'm ashamed to admit, since 2016. I just now today, after hearing my voice, and I'm like, I can hear the bass in Tony's voice, but why does my voice sound like I'm just broadcasting from inside a tin can? You know what I mean? Like I'm in a deep sea submersible. No, never mind. That's a bad time to bring that up again.
Yeah, don't. Yeah, too soon. It's
been a year.
That sank like a submarine.
Yeah, that joke it went over like a lead balloon. So I listen and I'm like, oh my gosh, that sounds terrible. I finally took the whole 5 minutes. Now, mind you, I've been looking at this mixer again since 2016. That's 8 years. If I can do the math, it's almost 8 years. Probably more. And the whole time above the bank where I can press record to choose the channel to make sure that we're recording it and capturing the audio, above the mute button, there is a select button. Why would I need a select button, Tony?
Do you want to be selective? I guess.
No, because that's the one you're selecting to adjust the damn EQ on. And just now today, finally, I tuned it up the exact same way I normally do, which is let's cut a little bit off the high frequency and let's take it and boost a bit onto the low frequency. Let's make sure we're rolling some of that bass. Don't look, Tony, don't mess with the mid-range, okay? You don't mess with
gonna.
You know where your
Listen,
vocals
I don't have equalizer on here.
You know where your vocals reside, right? Frequency-wise, you're the mid-range. We're all mid-range. We're all mid, and we didn't even know it.
True, but in all honesty, Will, like I don't know, like what my settings are. I ask you if it sounds good, and you said yes, and so I don't touch anything.
Yeah, you're coming across real well. Look, Tony, the whole thing is, like I said, I'm a low-grade narcissist, and I realized, you know what? Tony sounds better than me on this recording, and we can't have that. Welcome, Michelle Kuzo, joining us in the chat over on Yahoo. Of course, you can, like I said, you can talk about it any place. You can take part in the chat anywhere that you're watching us. And also, by the way, Michelle Kuzo, the person that helped coordinate my Disney vacation for me. I did not realize that 30 days in advance of my trip, I should have been booking any food reservations that I should, but I got into the Disney app, got into the website, and I did get my events scheduled, and I got at least one meal set up to where I'm getting a pass to be able to get preferred seating for Fantasmic because I had lunch at a particular place. So that's going to work out, Now, one of the things I'm doing, though, Tony, is what I think is one of the biggest wastes of money that you can do in Disneyland. And that is to get the Magic Band Plus. You're aware of this because the Magic Bands have been around in Disney World for the longest time, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And when you think Disney, you think Disney World, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. See, that's the difference between East Coast and West Coast. Basically, I think it's whatever side of the Rockies you're on. That dictates what you consider Disney. Now, we did get them, though. And the reason why is almost sad and pathetic. But I'm excited for it just the same. It's because there are stupid little bounty hunter games you can play in Galaxy's Edge. And like when we do go see Fantasmic, minus the Burning Dragon, we will, our bands will color coordinate and vibrate for us too.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully those will arrive in time. Also, I have to admit to you as well, Tony, this is the first time I am doing this at this level. Every single day of this trip, my wife and I have a matching themed t-shirt. So that way I'm wearing one, she's wearing the other. I'm not going to say what they are. I'm going to save the photos for later. And we'll do the reveal later. But I'm really looking forward to that. Now, Tony, now that I've freely admitted I am a moron when it comes to the tech that I use to record this very show, I think it's time we get into the nitty-gritty of things. One of the main topics that has been happening a lot on this program is us discussing the number of monitors that we have, each of us. You've even done a TikTok about the fact that you have got a lot of monitors going into one. You're not like me. I have a monitor almost for each dedicated system. If people were to take part in the show live like they used to, they could join the NetHeads Discord, and then you could go into the green room, and if you wanted to talk to us, I can move you into the actual voice channel, and that is a system. The sound effects that I play occasionally on the show,
You, Tony!
those are played
I
by
love that one.
those are played by a separate system. And then finally, of course, the one we broadcast through is a system. I actually, there's one monitor over here that is for work. I split my big super screen for work, but I don't have and now I've got the prompter. Tell us, what did you find at the discount bin store this week, sir?
Oh, so I found two things. I found an HDMI splitter so that you could connect your PlayStation 5, and then you could go out to, I think it was 3 or 4 different monitors, which I thought was pretty cool. I haven't played with it enough to know if it means that I could do 4 monitors to make it one large display, but I'm going to find that out probably in the next week or so. The second thing I found was a USB 3 to HDMI converter, which means you plug it in and it adds additional HDMI ports, so you could expand to up to 4 different monitors. And I tested it. When you plug it in, it's not that it becomes one monitor, like an additional monitor, and all of them are the same. Each one of those ports would be an additional monitor that you could expand your desktop for.
Tony, let me tell you something about the functionality you don't even realize you were sitting on, okay? A friend of the program and friend of myself, J.C. Reifenberg, is the owner of Scum and Villainy Cantina in beautiful Hollywood, California. When you enter into the Scum and Villainy Cantina, you are met with a finer geekery from all walks of science fiction life. There's something that may be very similar to stuff you may have seen in a galaxy far, far away. There is a chandelier that is made up for things that may be very reminiscent to Kryptonian information crystals, if you know what those are, sir. But on either side of the main entrance, once you have walked in, you will note that you are looking at a star scene, as though you are looking through the windows or ports of a star cruiser. And I kid you not, I don't know if he implemented the technology yet or the animation, but you can sit there and literally watch like a star cruiser go, and it's across 2 or 3 what look like windows. And the star cruiser comes and it enters the scene and goes, let's just say, out of frame, as though it's traveling over you, and then you see it finishing its traversal on the other 3 screens. Each one of those windows is an independent monitor or TV, and all of those are coordinated together. So you are sitting, my friend, with the right technology and the right know-how. You are sitting on the ability to make some really cool scenery scenes with extra monitors if you got them. I'm just saying.
Oh, I'm excited. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about myself. I've always been a display obsessed individual. Now, part of that has been because I have a movie. Before it was a Marvel room, it was a movie room, and I was going for the whole home theater thing. I had a digital movie poster with a TV. When you walk down, it said now playing. It would start the showtime, and it would tell you how much longer the film was running for. I wanted to at some point get multiple monitors to build a digital menu display, because I've got the nacho cooker, I've got a hot dog steamer, I've got an Otis Spunkmeyer oven, I've got an espresso machine. Like, I was going full-fledged concessions. I've got the popcorn machine off to the side, and a candy dispenser. And so I wanted to do that. And then I thought, when I'm doing the Marvel room, it'd be really cool if I had some displays that were kind of built into the walls that had like the Shield logo kind of spinning on them. So they were kind of like, you walk in like it's a Shield head. I don't know where to go with this at this point. Like, there's so much going on down here. The only thing I can think of is I use all of my monitors as a display, because of course I saw The Dark Knight back in 2008, and I loved the whole scene where he had the desk with all the monitors. I'm like, I could do that.
Right? That's cool. Also in Live Free or Die Hard, when you wind up in the Warlock's room, he's got like 6 big screens stacked, and the Warlock star
Kevin Smith.
That is correct. Thank you very much.
Yep.
It's funny you mention that, because one of the things that I want to do is I want to take, I don't know, maybe like a 24-inch monitor, or maybe something a little bit bigger. People that have been watching the show for the longest time, the dark thing that's always behind my head on the video is that's just 4 sound blocks, like sound dampeners. Sound foam is what I'm looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Those are just 4 of them combined right behind my head. Do they serve any purpose? I really don't think so, other than holding my knickknacks and my Doctor Who's sonic screwdrivers. What I want to do, however, is I want to get rid of that foam core there. I want to take the cap shield and put it behind my head, almost as though, oh, wow, look.
Wait,
kind of
like
like that. Kind of
Oh.
like that.
Yeah, it's like, hold on,
kind of like you have a Captain
let me
America
get it right.
halo.
Yeah, it's like
There you go.
a toga. Yeah.
I want to do that, and then in a frame, okay, so that it looks like a picture frame, put it right here in this area. So that way also I can maybe cover those ugly ass cords that are always down there. So that's one of the things I want to do, but there's 2 reasons why I haven't so far. One, I have absolutely no idea what I would do with the screen. Other than maybe reorient the camera that's behind me, and it could just always be a shot of the dead robots back here.
Okay. Can I make a suggestion here? I mean,
Yeah?
this is low hanging fruit. I don't know why you thought about this. To have a screen behind you with the animated NetHeads logo just going on behind you.
Like the whole time?
Yes. And then think of it this way. You're talking about different things. Like, I've even thought about doing this at one point, because I have a
and
TV
then I put
that's
them up
over
on the
here.
screen.
And so when you talk about something, the Vision Pro could like show up behind you on the screen. It's there.
There you go. Yeah, because we do have to talk about that. But first, we don't need to talk about screens anymore, Tony. We don't need to talk about tech. What we need to talk about is something that is natural, that's beneficial. And if you've been walking around in a fog lately, let me tell you something. Today is the day I completed. Do you know how many days, Tony, straight with Magic Mind?
Well, let's see. I would say you started this in what? You started this journey in March?
Yeah, but it's been a long time, and I used to hoard it on weekends. 14 days, Tony. I've been taking Magic Mind. Actually, I think it might actually be 21 days. But it's been a long time. And every single day now, I have to freely admit my mind is shot out of a cannon. I am making better decisions. I am thinking better, and I am thinking clearer. And it's because every single day, early in the day, I start my day off with a shot of Magic Mind. If you want to find out more about it, you can go to magicmind.com/netheads20 or use netheads20 at checkout to get 48% off a subscription or 20% off a purchase. It is like a power shot for your brain. Literally, I am dealing with some things, both professionally and personally, I've never dealt with before, or a level of organization that I require that I haven't had. I'm able to have it now because of the wonderful ingredients in Magic Mind. It's got the natural energy from the matcha tea. You know what the matcha is, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
I don't.
absolutely.
But it's a green tea, I think, of some kind. I see it in powder. People mix it up. I've heard about it at Starbucks. I don't care. If it adds to the flavor of Magic Mind, it's delicious. There's also the cordyceps mushrooms. There is lion's mane mushroom in there. They've got all these things that are called adaptogens and nootropics. And they either help you think clearer or they give you greater focus. And all of them are just as simple as drinking a tiny little shot a day. And best of all, you look at it and you say, Magic Mind, that looks pretty green. Yeah, it is. But you think, is it going to taste like wheatgrass? No, it doesn't. It has a sweet, citrusy flavor that I look forward to every single morning. And like I said, by taking the shot, it is literally like a power shot for my mind. And I almost fear how much of a crutch that it is in my life now. Thank goodness I've got a subscription. If you want to get a subscription, you can. They're really simple. magicmind.com/netheads20 or use netheads20 at checkout to get yourself 48% off a subscription, which I highly recommend, or $20 off a single purchase to give it a go. But remember, you're going to burn that discount, man. So I say dive in with the subscription. That's what I says. I says to him, get a subscription, because, it's 48 is bigger than 20 in the way of percentage discount. It's just simple math, guys. Please check it out. Tony, right before I started talking about Magic Mind, we started talking. You brought up an example where if I were to put up behind me, if I were to put a screen back here, I could make it a program out and I could actually put up images, the things I was talking about. And you made reference to a certain something. What was that certain something? I could put up a what on the screen?
The image of an Apple Vision Pro.
Why on earth, Tony, would I put up an image of an Apple Vision Pro?
Well, beyond the fact that we've been talking about it for a while, there is some new news about what Apple is doing about their Vision Pro.
New news.
New news.
New news.
Just in case.
New news.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so just in case you weren't aware,
this is like my kid running around trying to get me to say skibbity toilet, asking me if I Sigma and what kind of Riz do I have. Now I just want to walk around going, new news. Sorry, go ahead. Apple Vision Pro.
Are you ready?
You, Tony!
New news. Go ahead.
I can't now. Hold on.
Okay, I'll give you a second.
All right.
You can't say something like new news because it's just too fun to say. I love saying fun stuff. I already said I love the sound of my voice. So now I'm going to go new news. Okay, I'm done. So we've been talking about the Vision Pro, which is the VR headset from Apple. And the biggest problem with the damn thing, other than being really heavy, and also like I said, you never want to buy the first generation of anything because you're buying the worst thing you're buying the worst version that it will ever be. Okay. Right. Unlike, well, just like us, either taking the Magic Mind or exercising, doing that kind of stuff, we have the potential for improvement. But that first iteration, it ain't going to get any better. And people didn't like the wait. It was very costly. Let's just say might have contributed to a return rate they weren't happy about. You're telling me there's new VR headset news coming out of Apple?
Yes, new news. So, well, let's I'm trying really hard right now. Go ahead and get it out of your system one more time.
New news.
Okay. So, the $3,500 Vision Pro headset has been a remarkable piece of technology, and it's worked very well, with the exception of battery life, size, and functionality, basically, for anybody who wants to use it for a long period of time.
Everything that's most important, it's bad at. That's exactly. Like me.
So Apple has been reaching out to some of its manufacturers that make components for the Vision Pro, and they are telling them that they are holding off on making a new version of the Pro. They are not looking at the Vision Pro 2 right now. They are looking to see what they can do to cheapen the Vision, well, to make cheaper versions of the Apple Vision, that it won't be a Pro version.
I
It'll
think-
still be
I
high
think-
definition display,
Tony,
but it will be cheaper to technology.
I think the appropriate marketing terminology you're looking for is make it more economical, more cost effective.
But here's the thing: the projections of how much they're trying to save from $3,500, they're projecting that they could possibly make them cheaper to be about $1,500 to $2,500.
If they could come in at 1,500, I would entertain it. I would honestly entertain it at that point, because I was stupid enough to get Google Glass at 1,500. Okay, not that I've got that kind of disposal. I am so freaking broke, you guys. It's not funny, but we continue on. Thankfully, like through the support of our Patreon subscribers, like our Patreon Michelle Kuzo or Zach ZB in the chat. Both of those wonderful people. They take part in the program by actually helping us to get new equipment and the like with their wonderful subscriptions over at Patreon. Patreon.com/NetHeads on air. More economical, Tony.
Kind of.
At
this route.
You know, at 1,500, I think it's a little more doable. And even Tyson, I'm going to say Saner, but it could be Saner in the chat, is pointing out the price was their biggest obstacle too.
Honestly, if you're going to go and look at that, get a Meta Quest 3, which has the full pass-through technology where you can, watch TV while you're doing the laundry or whatever else. And then just invest in a really good additional extended life battery. Why are we buying the Apple Vision at this point if it's going to be that expensive, unless you really want Disney Plus to look more immersive? Or again, as much as a Marvel fan I am, I am not going to entertain spending $1,500 on What If, because you know what? I went to the Void way back before the pandemic, before it closed down, and I did Avengers Damage Control. And no matter what If can do for me with the Apple Vision Pro, it will never be as good as that was. So
whoa. What is this?
Avengers Damage Control?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know about the old VR places that happened before the pandemic? They were called the Void. They'd be in malls and different places. They were actually down in like downtown Disney and Disney Springs. Okay, so
nope.
So here it was done with Lucasfilm's Industrial Light and Magic. The stakeholder was Disney, and they had these basic these spots where it was VR, but it wasn't just like you're standing in a circle like you see in the middle of a mall somewhere. These were like large areas that involved the VR experience having tactile interaction. And so you put a backpack on and a pair of visors, and if in the game you were walking upstairs, you would walk upstairs. If you took an elevator, the elevator brought you down somewhere. Like the game was configured to the arena. And so Marvel Studios, this was a if I remember correctly, it was a canon adjacent, so it wasn't fully canon, but they had Letitia Wright, they had Benedict Cumberbatch, they had a number of people who were working to either be on screen or voice acting for this thing. And basically you were talking to Shuri. They had just come back, the end game was over. Stark Industries was working with Wakanda, and so they were making vibranium Iron Man suits that had Wakandan tech built into them, and you were testing out one of those suits. And you could be with 5 other people, and you get to design you could choose the color of your suit. You use repulsor cannons, and when you put your arm up like this, it did the vibranium shield. And Doctor Strange all of a sudden teleports you out of the Wakandan center and tells you that there's an issue. And basically Ultron has taken over damage control and was using the technology that was captured in damage control to make more versions of himself. And you had to join the Avengers, including the Hulk, Captain Marvel, Ant-Man the Wasp, and Spider-Man to take on Ultron, which ended up having you pilot a Quinjet to the helicarrier and then take on Ultron Prime as the final boss.
Oh wow.
And you literally when you walked, like you Strange teleports you to the Sanctum, and you're walking up the stairs and you're holding the banister because there's no controls. It's your hand gestures do everything. And so you're literally holding the banister, walking up the stairs, and you're talking to Doctor Strange. And then he opens the portal and then you walk through the portal. But if you don't step over, you kick the wall that the portal was put in. So like you had to literally stay within the parameters of it was the most amazing. They did it with Ghostbusters. I think they did a Star Wars experience with it, and then Damage Control. But then the pandemic happened and they went out of business. So, as much as VR is fantastic, the Void was by far, I think, the best thing ever because it wasn't a room, it wasn't a circle or a sphere that you stood on. It was literally an arena that you had to navigate, and everything that was there was meant to know. Like if you were to try to walk into a wall, you were walking into a wall. So I'm just saying, like,
Well, but I don't want to walk into a wall, Tony. That sounds painful.
I'm saying, like, if you think you're going to defy the parameters, you weren't going to, because everything was there in place that matched with what was going on. So like you walk through a door and you're on a Quinjet, and then went to go reach the controls for the Quinjet, they were there. Like you grabbed actual controls. And so
wow,
it was
the
amazing.
amount of planning that must have required to make sure that spatially speaking the next thing is there or the item is there. That gives me a headache. It gives me almost as much of a headache that I think about as my my buddy Brett Deacon. He works for 40X. Okay, so you know how they have their 40X experience where you're watching a movie and you can smell smoke and it hits you with mist and all that, and the chair moves, jostles the heck out of you. He's a producer, I think, on those things, so he has to always quality test them. But sitting there having to plan out all those movements, just the thought of it gives me a headache. And what you're talking about there, planning that out, it sounds like an incredible experience, but a hell of a nightmare. How do I get one in my garage? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive. And I mean, the funny part was it was a backpack with the VR set, and it wasn't you kind of forgot you were wearing it. Like the VR set had lots of fans in it. The backpack wasn't super heavy, and literally it kept your arms from being encumbered. So whatever you needed to do, like I think they even had it where, like with the Ghostbusters, when you went to grab the wand from the proton pack, you actually were grabbing a physical wand. So all of that was kind of part of the experience, and it was phenomenal. And it was one of those things where a lot of people didn't know about it until it was gone and it wasn't available anymore. I have posters for it.
Oh man, that is a bummer. Yeah, I wasn't even aware of this experience. I'm so bummed to hear I didn't get to do it, but also I'm not surprised how immersive at that immersion level. I'm not surprised you could also just lose yourself in the headset, because like I have had challenges with, and I've still been unable to complete the Iron Man VR on the Meta Quest because I completely get so lost in it. I can't handle moving anymore. You know what I mean? I get motion disorientation. I completely forget that I'm in a different environment. So so I totally see that. Also, what was one of the things I saw this week too? Speaking of VR, it kind of made news a little while ago. Disney Imagineering had come out with this special tiled floor that people could walk on or move on and the like. Oh, you're welcome.
Yep. You're really hit or miss with the camera changes tonight. I'm just gonna say it.
No, every single one of them is intentional, bud. Actually, for some reason, I just don't want to be on screen tonight. I saw this thing and it's cool because you can move around, run around, walk around, and it adjusts everything for you. It's almost like a stationary treadmill, something even more advanced than was proposed in Ready Player One in the movie. So that was really cool. I briefly saw, I didn't look up the technology. I saved it to look at it more. Maybe we'll talk about it next week. But I also saw a company that has now made basically a set of shoes. I don't know how long the power lasts, but they do the exact same thing. If you're walking, they'll keep you stationary, but still allow you to do the walking movement and running and the like. I mean, very soon, the next iteration of VR is just going to be literally an Iron Man outfit with all these doohickeys on it and sensory things, like the impact bodysuits that they had in Ready Player One. I think we're almost there. I'm just saying, I think we're almost there.
I would rather us just get to the technology like the Matrix, where we just plug in and we don't have to worry about moving, and we can just control everything with our mind.
That sounds wonderful, except think about the last time you had a nightmare you couldn't get out of. Knowing in your dream, why can't I wake up and get away from this? Same thing. I don't know about putting my consciousness in anywhere. Not to mention, I don't think anyone wants to wire anything up to this brain. Okay?
I know it's funny. Like I was thinking about just mentioning the Matrix. The premise was always the idea that people didn't want to be put into this virtual world, even when they were given what they want. I almost wonder if the machines would have ever asked, like, "Hey, who wants to become batteries for us?" And who would like to, be in whatever scenario they want to, and we'll just make the scenario for you. And steak tastes like steak, or whatever they think it tastes like. But we could get there. And unfortunately for me, some people are AAA batteries and some people are D batteries. Just it depends on the size.
Yeah, especially with the amount of heat. Even though I gotta admit, in the Matrix, man, that really seems like a really horrible and inefficient way to harvest energy, because of just, we're going to collect the heat that people are emitting, and that's how we're going to. Those machines have way too much power to just be getting radiant heat and converting it to electricity. I'm just saying, I don't care how many people it was. But, I know, fictional characters. What was the other thing I wanted to ask you about, Tony?
Well,
oh, wow. Oh, no, go ahead.
So I don't know if this isn't tech news, but it's nerd related.
New news.
Did you hear about Donald Sutherland?
Oh yeah, I don't tend to discuss when celebrities pass because I don't really have much that I feel I can effectively contribute to the narrative. I mean, because just like so many other people, I just enjoyed what was a very long career in movies. I think the youngest Donald Sutherland I saw was when I was watching the movie Animal House at an inappropriate age. Thank you, home VCRs. And also around that same time, who could forget the utter terrifying image he made in Invasion of the Body Snatchers at the.
Oh my goodness, I forgot all about that.
Yeah, man, that was terrifying. And then you fast forward through everything he did, and even he just passed at 88, and it wasn't so long ago he was playing Snow in the Hunger Games movies, for gosh sakes.
Yeah.
So
my wife didn't actually know that he was the father of Kiefer Sutherland. Like, that just went over her head. I'm like, did you ever look? Like, go look at their pictures. They're very Kiefer Sutherland favors his father, but I mean, like, amazing acting family. So I think the biggest thing, I don't want to add to anything either as well, and I guess maybe I apologize for bringing it up in the first place, but it's like, I think we can reminisce and we can look at it, but a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, the Hunger Games actor is gone. No. He was a guy. He was a person, and we respect him as much as that. But remembering the career, I mean, at 80, was it 88 years old, you said?
Yeah, he passed at 88 today. Or yesterday. I don't know.
The full life. Like, if anything, I could say, I hope that when I look back, it's like, when I get to 88 years old, if I get to 88 years old, I hope I have at least as much of a mark on things as he did. It's like a life that's lived and makes an impact is very important.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why I'm constantly striving to just go viral one way or another now on any form of media. Actually, you know what? I say that and I joke about that, but honestly speaking, I don't think I truly have any desire to quote unquote go viral, especially because of the things that do go viral. And what's amazing too is that now we live within so many algorithms that it is it really is very customized. Like, I don't know what your weekend, let's say, on TikTok was, Tony, but mine was an ever evolving and continuous storytelling of an NSYNC fan getting up on stage and doing the "It's Gonna Be Me" dance video or dance moves on point. And it was constant, one video, another angle. Is this her? Oh my gosh. You know, that was my weekend journey, other than Father's Day, which I didn't even ask you about. But that was my journey on TikTok. Like what, well, and then unfortunately there is also the Hak Tui girl, but you know, it's one of two. It's an interesting dynamic right there. That is quite the dichotomy to have. But what was your weekend like, for example?
Oh, it's so sad. So mine was news about specific politicians and the stupidity that they're going through, saving a little dirt for the dirt man, and police brutality. I don't know why that.
See, look how vastly different our online worlds are. That's just nuts, man. That's crazy, insane. Hey, by the way, I mentioned Father's Day a second ago. How was yours, sir?
It was fantastic. We did nothing of any importance. Like, it was just nice. I slept in. We went to the bin store. That's when I got the HDMI thing. And then we went home and ate crabs, and I just messed around and painted stuff in my 3D printing.
That's actually an excellent day. The whole weekend was interesting for me because my daughter had a dance recital, which she was in every single one of 5 shows. There were 2 Friday night. Unfortunately, I got sick. Stomach issues, didn't go to any of those. But the next day, Saturday, was like putting in a full day of work because we had to leave at 8:30 and we weren't done until 4 something when the final show was over. But my daughter and I got to walk around the farmer's market that's always in downtown Brentwood every single weekend. So I was really excited about that. I've been wanting to get to the farmer's market because let's face it, farmer's market's about 3 things: getting fresh produce, getting good flowers, and boy, oh boy, all them food trucks, man. And let me tell you something. I went beignet crazy. I'm not going to lie. And I don't feel any shame about it. Probably
with the powdered sugar on the top?
Oh, yeah. So Sunday was more interesting though, because one of the ongoing themes, unfortunately, is that I have been kvetching about my local AMC theater and the poor quality of their screens. So much so I'm surprised they haven't taken action against me. But one of the things that our little town has that is it's had for quite a while in downtown is a 2-screen independently owned cinema. And right before the pandemic, the buildings were bought by new people. And so they just completed, just in time for Father's Day, a 4-year renovation of the space. So,
nice.
And I got to tell you something. It is not, like, I wouldn't doubt if each theater holds less than 100 people. Hell, I think they may hold less than 50. But the experience they gave us, there's either a brand new, clean seats in the row that at least have a cup holder. But then if you're on theater 1, the entire back half is recliners with a fold-in snack table that you can spin out to get out of the chair, and then you can bring the sucker to you to hold your popcorn and all your stuff. Mm-hmm. You know, does the full reclining. And the theaters aren't big, so there isn't really a bad seat in the house. Actually, so much so, we got seats in the middle because I booked this at the last minute, and it was actually too close for my wife. So the screen quality was excellent, which, you know, you got to worry about from a local theater. And they have the full Dolby Atmos sound, I believe it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So we went. So the whole point is, I started out Father's Day. I ordered some eggs Benedict or eggs Florentine, and then we went to go see Inside Out 2 at this new theater. And man, sure. It was just a delightful experience, including the fact that they have like boutique soda. I think it was Alameda Soda Company. Were all the soda they were the soda manufacturer, and they had all the standard flavors, you know, cola, black cherry cola, some type of lemon lime, root beer. I almost went with root beer. But the whole thing is that it's also pure cane sugar soda. So it doesn't have the HFC, high fructose corn, HFCE is HFCS. I don't know why I bothered with acronyms. I already said high fructose corn syrup. The only thing is there's no local theater that can compete with my popcorn. I don't know why all of them seem to be hesitant to use Flavacol. Folks, the secret is Flavacol, okay? Pop it in a popper, an oil popper, and use the appropriate amount of Flavacol. You'll have the best movie theater popcorn at home. Theirs was not up to snuff. I should drop in, give them a pointer or two, but it's not my place.
Will,
yeah.
Your criticism of AMC, you going to this theater and having a good time. Are you leading up to the irony of what you won this weekend?
No, actually, I'm not. But it is. Yeah, it is. It's not sad. It's fun.
No, it's ironic.
A little bit. So mentioned the farmer's market, right? We went to the farmer's market, and the beignet place also have what they called shaved ice, but it was more like a snow cone. Okay, so kind of a granular ice. And so my daughter didn't really enjoy it all that much. Also, she was in her dance clothes, white T-shirt. I get her a cherry shave ice. Not the brightest dad. The kid's justification, though, it's, Dad, don't worry if I spill. It's red, the shirt's white, it'll be pink, it'll match. So good on her for that kind of logic. So she had that, but she really wanted shave ice. Now, true shave ice is like of a snow quality, right? And then it's got delicious syrups. And for 2 years now, we've had a place in town called Aloha Ice. They make their own syrups. They customize them themselves. And unbeknownst to me, Father's Day was also their 2-year anniversary. So we went to go have some shave ice as a family. I got my whole family to go with me, which was exciting. And we all got to order. We had no idea it was the 2-year anniversary. All the tables were moved outside for activities that had already happened earlier in the day. But what do they say? They say, hey, if you follow us on social media and you tag us in a picture of you enjoying your shave ice before midnight tonight, you will get entered into our giveaway. And they had one of 3 prizes, $50 AMC gift card, I forget the middle one, and shave ice for a year. And let me tell you something, baby. Right? I was like,
win.
All right. I'm like, I am going to get so fat because the gods will be with me and they will deliver unto me shave ice every day for a year. They did not, but I was astonished to learn on Monday or Tuesday that I did win. Drum roll, please. We don't have one. I won the AMC gift card. But that's fine. It's good enough for 2 tickets and $20 at the concession stand. And mind you, I have to go to AMC to see Deadpool and Wolverine with my wife because, you know, I'm a bit of a screen snob now. So I had to have the yeah.
I'm just saying, or you could use that money to buy the popcorn bucket.
Oh, good point. Maybe I'll do that. But it's still, I'm very appreciative to have won. And if you happen to be in the Brentwood, Antioch area, in beautiful Northern California, highly recommend you drop in on Aloha Ice. It is just the tastiest, super tastiest treat. So much so, Wednesday when I went to go pick up my prize, I once again was ordering, and I will be back again. But I have to say, I'm seeing Deadpool and Wolverine on Sunday, which means I'll have to go to the movie theater on Thursday if I want to get the popcorn bucket. So I wonder if there's any way my wife will say it's okay for me to see the movie on Thursday. No, probably not. But I have to tell you something. If I really like it, I'm looking forward to actually seeing it afterwards at the Delta I didn't even mention the name, at the Delta in downtown Brentwood. I really... seriously, excellent sound, excellent screen, and really no bad seat in the house, especially if I can get a recliner in the back, man. So I had a hell of a Father's Day. It was fun and it was good. Yeah. I was happy. I didn't have crab though, like you. Yeah.
Well, I had to cook it. So yeah, there's that too.
Yeah. Well, wait a second. I think I might have cooked as well, or did I not? I don't remember. I know I wanted to, but I honestly don't remember what I had for dinner on Saturday or Sunday, and I don't really think anyone listening cares. Oh man, we missed saying goodbye to Tyson Sainer, so thank you for dropping in. Glad to have had you drop in. Tony, I know we got started a little late, but I don't know that there's anything else I really have to talk about. You know, I've gone the full gambit of technology and screens to shave ice. What more, if anything, could we cover this episode?
Well, I kind of looked up. Oh, you know what? There is one more thing, and I don't know if this was a just an oversight, but when you were starting the show, and I saw the opening image, what's this about Bamboo's A1 recall?
Oh, buried the lead. Look at me, such a dum-dum. Those of you that have been listening and tracking my printing of a Deadpool helmet, a wonderful one that will require 198 magnets. I had been having woes, if you will, in trying to get this print as resin. So I decided, you know what the hell, since I'm probably going to put a wash over the red to make it a darker red, why not just hit some good old PLA prints with clear gloss, so that way I get the same effect, right? What did I print all these parts on? I printed them on my Bamboo Lab A1 combo. This is a great printer. It is virtually think proof, if you will. I don't want to say it's foolproof because, prints will still fail, but it really is almost, in the world of 3D printers, I would definitely say it's a contender for set it and forget it, which is what you want out of a 3D printer. Not to mention it has a ludicrous mode for printing if you really need something fast and you don't care about the quality. It also, with the AMS Lite, I can do up to 4 colors if I want. Great printer. The only problem is I bought mine back in, I want to say the very end of the year, beginning of the year, okay? As soon as it was available, so it was around December 14th. We got notice, hey, a little bit of concern. If you have a crimp cable, you got a cable issue, you might want to print out this adapter we've got that will help stabilize your cable. And then, like, number of days later, hey, don't use your A1. Ooh. There's a cable issue. We're recalling all of them. You can either return it, or we'll send you a hotbed, or we'll do an exchange for you when they're available, or we'll send you a new hotbed. You install it yourself. You take a picture. You can get a discount at the Bamboo shop or a credit, right? So that way I can buy some filament with it. I still haven't installed the sheet, though, because I'm lazy. But it was a recall. It was a legitimate recall, and any printer that was made after January 30th does not have the same issue. If your A1 has an A in the serial number, it has an issue. Practically any other letter, you're fine, or ends in an A versus a C, I think, or an onward. So they started selling them again after the recall and after figuring out how to fix the issue, because apparently, I don't know, some fires might have been started, Tony. Okay, some things may have gone, some people may have gotten shocked. I don't know. All I know is during the entire recall time, I will freely admit I printed at my own risk. And technically I still am because I haven't put the new hotbed in. But anyway, it's every single printer that was sold after January, fine, has no issue. Now, I don't know if you're aware of this, but there is a consumer protection website that is powered by the government. It's like the cpcv.org or whatever. You can look it up. They finally caught up because surprisingly, the wheels of government don't move fast, Tony. They don't move fast.
Surprise.
So like Thursday or Friday of last week, they finally entered in and had the recall from back in January. Okay? Not a new recall. Not a new issue, an existing issue from January. Next thing I know, I got an email from the TikTok shop letting me know, hey, the printer you bought, it has a recall. That's it. You want your money back? You got it. Keep it, throw it away. We don't care. And all of us said, hey, wait a second, guys. You might be overacting. So much so. One of my mutuals on there, Steven the Lightspeed, I've mentioned him before. He's the one that had the alternative popcorn buckets. He designed the fake ones that people had made. So you could print them out and have the ridiculous one where each one at the bottom of the bucket has a mouth. You've seen them. He had used on the TikTok shop as an affiliate link for the TikTok shop, and he was doing videos about the A1. Dude had sold a whole bunch of them. And now TikTok has issued a refund to everybody that bought an A1 recently. Yeah. If you had taken, I mean, look, it turns out Bamboo Lab is going to reach out to these people, and they're hoping that in the goodness of their hearts, for the ones that the refunds did process through, they're hoping to reclaim payment in working with the consumer directly. But that's not going to help my buddy Steven the Lightspeed, because dude sold, like, let's just say somewhere in the ballpark of 20 printers through his link. He was getting a decent commission on these things. His commission now, gone. Like in the wind. Kaiser Soze.
I'm gonna say this though. It's not me over here first thinking, man, I should have bought one of those printers when I had the
Every single one of us had the thought, Tony. I had the exact same thought. It entered my brain as well. I said, you know what? Man, I wish I had bought one. And I almost did, because I always, no matter what, I hate to shit on the Anchor M5, okay? Because for a while it was a good, reliable printer. But it requires way more upkeep and tuning than the A1. I got the AMS Lite for up to 4 colors. I have hardly ever used it, if at all. So I figured, I can just get an A1 to take over for the Anchor Make M5, and that way I've got like printers. And if I'm printing a multiple piece thing, like a Deadpool helmet that all the sections magnet together, I can feel free to have the same color filament on both and know I'm going to get the same print quality. I found ways to justify it, bud. I just didn't act on it, thank God, because, of the money, but I wish I had, because free printer. But still, if you had bought, okay, so here's the theoretical. Here is the theoretical. Now, first of all, before I get into the theoretical, let's point out the fact TikTok did not consult with Bamboo Lab at all before they made this decision. They just did what they do. And I've heard other people complain that the TikTok shop as well, like for smaller creators, if a person is selling their own wares through the TikTok shop, one customer just needs to complain, they instantly get refunded and you're out the sale. That's it. No questions asked. So not the best way to do business. Now, when you're talking about a major company like Bamboo Lab being screwed over by the TikTok shop, because really, technically speaking, the only person that's really out money is Bamboo Lab in this case, plus all the commissioner people. Yeah. But it's just I'm so glad I've never tried to sell anything through the TikTok shop, because it seems more like a Wild West flea market than anything else right now.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've been doing a lot of like reviews of TikTok shop items, and it's only ever been because I've wanted the item and I thought it would be something useful. Hence why, I don't have anything near me right now that's TikTok shop. I got
Where's that damn Arzopa monitor?
Our Arzopa monitors are over here because I'm trying to figure out how to incorporate them into my display system. But like, I just know there was a big pull at one point, even for the creators being like, well, listen, if you're seeing your numbers taper off and you really want to see a boost, TikTok shop reviews will boost your numbers on top of giving you commission. And that's not the case. That is absolutely not the case.
The only
unless the business wants to pay to increase the reception of your video, you're not going to see any growth.
The number of times I had to see Ben Pendergast, It's Boy in Space, doing, ironically, a commercial for the Bamboo A1, did a video for it, so they were paying to put that in rotation. I had one of my videos they did that with, which was, I think, the Roomba-like vacuum. And that video I saw was getting higher views in rotation because they did that. The company invested in it, and they ran the ad, and they paid for a little more exposure, which is very flattering as a creator, but I've only had it happen once. So yeah, you're not going to get higher engagement just because you did the video. And if anything, my views have proven you're probably going to lose some followers because they're like, old man, I'm here for the little plastic robots, not your bald head, okay? That's not what I'm looking for. If I wanted to hear from a guy that's bald in glasses, I'll talk to Steve from Blue's Clues. Hey, it's Steve. I'll hear from him. I don't need you. I get it, guys. I feel for you. I understand. They want the robots and possibly anything else, just not me. Now you add in trying to get them to sit through an ad, which, honestly speaking, so far I've been extremely clumsy at doing. Believe it or not, in that medium, I don't understand how to sell because I want a legitimate angle to talk about it and not, but I'll get hung up on their talking points. So anyway, let's get into the hypothetical to close out the show, Tony.
Okay.
If you did get a Bamboo Lab A1 and they issued you a refund, okay, from the TikTok shop, and then let's say 2 weeks later you get an email from Bamboo Labs saying, hey, TikTok made a mistake. We would humbly request that we could recomplete your transaction. What do you do, Tony?
Okay, so I probably, seeing the money refunded, would freak out and hold it aside because I'd feel like I'd get in trouble if I spent that money and then I was supposed to put it back. My inclination first is like, this is a TikTok problem. TikTok should be paying for the fault. But I personally probably would have had the money aside. If I had the money to buy the printer and the money somehow came back to me with me still having the printer, I would have held off on that money because my first thought is something's wrong. It's kind of like the person who went to the bank and deposited $50 and they got 5 million in their account. They're going to be responsible for that money, even though it's not their fault. And so that would be my first thought is like, I'm not going to get caught not having the money and owing and then getting in trouble. I'd rather hold off and see what happens. So that's me. More out of fear than out of honor, I think, I mean, you know, because I have anxiety. So
Tony, yeah. I'm a Reformed Catholic. I instantly would have caved and given them the money back. But there's another thing to bear in mind, and I hope people, when they are approached by Bamboo Lab, recognize this. Every single one of those people more than likely registered the printer because there is an entire ecosystem for being able to get 3D prints for free at Maker World. And you create an account so that way you can send prints from your computer to the printer. That's through a cloud service. So you had to have registered. So they know what your serial number is. And let's face it, if they didn't get payment, technically, I'm sure they could come up with a way to brick your printer.
Yep.
And there's
because
nothing...
I have a K1 Max and it has, I mean, if it weren't for the Creality cloud, I don't know. Cause like my Creality print and everything works through that. And so, yeah, it'd be a big deal, a very big deal.
Yeah. So the last thing you want them to do, if you've ever had issues with an Apple iPhone and it's accidentally been bricked for any reason, you know that's not the kind of pain you want. And you know, again, it's there's nothing a consumer could do. What leg do you have to stand on? Well, they gave me my money back. Great, but you still had the printer, right? Yeah. Honestly speaking, I think you're right, though. TikTok really should be the group they should step back in as intermediary and say, look, we accidentally gave you a refund. We need to take that back because, like I said, there are people that got screwed out of commissions. They may not necessarily have been advertising for an A1. Maybe they may have done a Creality, what is it, Max? What is it called?
The K1 Max.
Or maybe they were going to try and push a Prusa XL. Who knows, right? But now they're out commission. I honestly speaking, it is an amazingly large blunder that I would say I would be shocked about. But after the stories I've heard from content creators having issues with getting strikes and getting banned and that type of thing, and actually personally speaking, there was a brief amount of time where Jason Mewes was locked out of his TikTok account because they mistakenly had changed the phone number on his account. Well, people in the company did. And so they couldn't ever get the recovery code to get back into the account. Finally, it had to take partnering with TikTok in order to get it resolved. You know, they're not the best customer service. So I'm not surprised that this may happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if it was triggered by somebody reporting the recall that had absolutely nothing to do with being recalled now. It's so shocking. I'm just so glad that's not my I'll stick with the Amazon affiliates, I think, is what I'll do. Because I've never done anything there too.
Either.
Yeah, exactly. So, no harm, no foul. Actually, that's not true. Way back early on in NetHeads history, which, by the way, if you want to hear the whole back catalog, you can find it over at patreon.com/NetHeads on air. Most basic level, get you every single episode conveniently delivered to Spotify if you want it. All that wonderful stuff. Way back in the day, but when we were in the process of Blair's adoption, it was because of the affiliate link at Amazon that we were able to help fund our adoption costs. We started a whole thing. It was called One More Wilkins, onemorewilkins.com, and we asked people to just help us grow our family by 2 more feet. Huh?
I like it.
And it was because of the Amazon affiliate links at the time that I was able to, because thankfully I made sure, well, I didn't make sure, but thankfully we got started in circulating that stuff right before the holiday season. So if you want to pick up an Amazon affiliate activity, I would highly recommend doing it before the holidays, because then people get cookied for your thing and you get credit for sales. Mm-hmm. There was a long time we used to feature actually an Amazon link or the Amazon product of the week. Should probably go back to that. But considering I got everything set up for this show about 60 seconds before it was supposed to start, don't hold your breath, folks. Tony, I can't stand my voice anymore. I'm done. I am through.
Oh, you know you like your voice.
Yes, I do, but I can't do it anymore, man. We gotta go.
Okay.
It's not the dead horse called. It said enough already. Okay, time to wrap it up. Everybody, please remember, if you're listening to this, hopefully before the beginning of the Friday calendar day, or Friday the 21st of June. Friday the 21st of June, 5 p.m. Pacific time, 8 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be on the Nerd Initiative channel doing fandoms with Tony.
Yes.
I don't have no idea what we're going to be talking about. Hopefully the Alkalite, because we never got that here.
Yeah, well, that'll probably be like sparse into it. Just to give you an idea, I titled the thing, and it's gonna drive it. It's not gonna do well for you, I don't think. But it's Dungeons, Dragons, and Doctor.
Okay, all right. I'm 1 out of 3 ain't bad. Oh yes, because right before the episode, we'll probably have fresh thoughts about Doctor Who as well, because the series finale in British terms, the season finale, will be hitting Disney Plus tomorrow at 4 p.m. Pacific time. So I got to make sure to get everything aligned for that as well. But yeah, do join us if you can. Nerd Initiative, the website's nerdinitiative.com, right?
Mm-hmm, that's correct.
Yep.
And you can find the links to everything there. I do have to make a retraction tomorrow because for whatever reason on Wednesday when we did the Road to Deadpool and Wolverine, I did not think that there was another episode of Doctor Who coming. I literally thought last week was the finale. So I was talking about how I was going to be sad that there was no new Doctor Who. And now I have to feel like an idiot.
Congratulations, sir. You don't need to feel like an idiot. You should feel thrilled, my friend. Absolutely thrilled, because we get one more episode. And then, the cool thing about the Russell Z Davies era that was also carried on into the Stephen Moffat era was the regular Christmas episode. So I'm sure we'll be getting treated to the Christmas episode. Probably about same time, May of next year, we'll get new Doctor Who, or whenever it started this season. Because season 2, technically, actually, it's already in the can. It's already been shot. So they're ahead
Super
of the
excited.
game. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to that. But I'm really looking forward to the season finale because so much, unfortunately, of the penultimate episode of the season was truly dedicated to setting up whatever it is we're going to see on Friday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, 7 p.m. Eastern time on Disney Plus. Not an ad. So also remember, folks, you can check out Tony everywhere on social media. He is the Marv Elite. You can find him out there. Mr. Marv Elite is out there. The Mr. Marvelite everywhere on social media. You can also find me, thatwillwilkins.com, or thatwillwilkins everywhere on social media. And you know what? Like I said, everything else, and there's been so many ads before this, I'm not going to bore you with another one. Until next time, folks, my name is Will.
And I'm Tony.
Live long and prosper.
And may the force be with you.
NetHeads. We'll be back soon.
Goodbye.
This has been a Smodco Internet production. Sip. Only at smodcast.com. By the way, Tony, I forgot to mention about the Disney vacation. I hit the exact same wall you did. We've talked about it before, but when I was sitting there booking experiences and I'm looking at Galaxy's Edge, I'm like, okay, how much is it to make a droid? Because it's going to be my daughter and I both doing it, right? How much is it going to be to make a droid? How much? Oh, starts at $99. Okay, that's not so bad. How much is it to do a saber?
Oh, what was it? $200?
$249, something like that. At which point
it's more than it was. It was more than it was in 2022. Like I think it was $200 back then, and we're like, I'm just gonna say this: if you can convince Blair to go to Star Tours, they usually have like a build your own lightsaber thing that is exorbitantly cheaper. It's just more plastic.
And it doesn't have all the wonderful experience of activating your saber and holding it up and taking the oath, yada, 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 woo, woo. Come on, man. $99, level up sabers, blind box, still in existence. I ordered Blair one, so hopefully by the time we get back from Disneyland, she and I will be doing, but man, that was some, maybe it's somewhere like around $212 and up, but man, that was some serious sticker shock.
Just be prepared, though. You're talking about the droid experience. Don't forget, there's the backpack that the droid goes in. There's the personality chips that you can put in them, and then depending on what droid, if you get an R2 unit, there's also there's like the accessory set where you can have like the Jabba the Hutt, like the little bar thing that went on R2 that you can add to your astromech.
You can add extra. Cool. Well, not to mention the standard panels on his side are the only things that are included. The extra squares and the like aren't. I mean, it's like, seriously, guys. I just want to have a family vacation. I'm not trying to pay out all my. I don't need a third mortgage just because I want to go to Disney.